Ciao, benvenuti, and welcome to another episode of Live at 5 with Louise in the Dimi Depew kitchen. And tonight, y'all have been asking for the sweets, and you're getting it. So, Laurie and Lisa, this one's for you. So, this is what we're making tonight. I'm going to give you a little preview of what the end product's going to look like. And look at this thing. And actually, baked this earlier this morning, and the smell, like, it has taken every ounce of self-control not to cut into this. But we were waiting for all of you to show up before we cut into this. But before we do that, I'm going to tell you how this all came together. So, and it's fairly easy, actually. So this is basically, in Italian, it is called I'm going to get this right, Schiacciata con l'uva. So this is a traditional Tuscan dish made in the fall in honor of the grape harvest. So when I was in Florence in September, it's like all the little bakeries had their version of this focaccia available in the windows. And so in honor of the fall harvest, and I think we had a harvest full moon about a week ago, we're going to celebrate with a little kind of a sweet focaccia tonight. So I'm going to put that aside and then share with you how we got to this point. So start with, this is what I started with. A little bit of yeast in some warm water. And I used about 100 milligrams of warm water right out of the tap. Dissolve the yeast in that, set it aside, measured out 400 grams of flour. And the recipe is an Italian recipe, so it says 0 flour. To me, that's just like our regular flour that we get at the grocery store. So that's what I use. And then it does this magic. So the yeast goes into the flour, and then it goes into the mixer right here with a dough hook, adding a little bit up to another 100 milliliters of water, warm water, out of the tap, into the bowl as it's beginning to knead. And you just kind of like wait for the dough to get a little bit sticky, but not super sticky. This is one of those things, if you baked bread or deal with yeast dough, it's an intuitive kind of, you gotta play with it a little bit and try out some things, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Today it worked. Today we're happy. So after it kneads for 15 minutes, and then I just put a little olive oil in a glass bowl and then drop the ball of dough into the bowl. And so the ball, when you're finished making it, is about this big. And now we let it rise for a couple of hours. And this actually hasn't even been a couple hours. It's been more like an hour and a half, but it's warm in the kitchen. And so it's rising enough. Gets covered in plastic. And you just let it do its thing and sit by the side. So now we're going to unwrap the plastic off the lid, and I'm going to move our end product out of the way and then let you all see my workstation. Oh, and look at my cool new board. It's called a spanniatoia, which that's Italian for like basically like your pasta bread rolling out wooden thing. That's what it is. It's a thing. So we're going to dust it with a little flour that I'm right here. Voila, just like that. And then just rub it around a little bit. And then this, if you guys have you ever done like dough or bread dough, yeast dough? It's so fun. I love the feel of it. So we're just going to like dump this out onto my spanniatoia. And it's a good thing there was some olive oil in the bowl, because you can see the dough will stick a little bit. So that's the whole point of olive oil in the glass bowl. And then we're going to just pat it a little bit, give it a little bit of a massage. We like to massage the dough. And there. And I'm going to get a little flour in my hands.
So Lori's on, and so is Chana.
Oh, Hannah. Hi, Hannah. Hi, Laurie. You were asking for sweets, Laurie. I want photos that you actually did this recipe.
Sweets for the sweet.
Yeah, whatever. So, so here's the bowl, our ball of dough, and I'm going to use 2/3 of this dough. So I'm eyeballing it. That looks about like 2/3 over here and 1/3 over there. So 2/3 of this is going to go into the bottom of the pan. So we're going to put that aside for now. And I have an 8x8 pan because that's what I had. There's enough dough here to do a 9x9, but since I didn't have a 9x9, we're rolling with it because that's how we do here in the Demi DiPio kitchen. And then in the foil pan, I'm going to add a little parchment paper, like so. And then the parchment paper is going to get a little bit of olive oil, or maybe a little more than a little bit. It's one of the, ooh, and you know how I am. I'm licking that. So let's roll this around a little. One of the key yummy factors of focaccia is all the olive oil that gets used. So now we're going to take our 2/3 of the dough ball. I'm going to work it a little bit before I put it into the pan. So kind of smash it out with my fingers. Because you know with focaccia, it has all your little fingerprints and the little indents from poking it and kind of mushing it into a shape. So here we go. That's it. Into the pan. Voila. This is it. So this is our first layer of the Schiacciata. And I'm going to kind of press the dough into place and push it so that there's an edge of dough along the pan. So that's it, just like that. And now, you're going to try to make this like, so here, these are the grapes. I found these at the farmer's market. I don't know exactly what kind of grapes they are, other than they're very tasty. And they do have some small seeds, which we're going to keep in the grapes because we're just going to do it that way. And here's, get a couple of bunches. We just kind of pluck them off. And we're going to put half of them, oops, we don't need that little thing off the, there we go. So we're going to put half the grapes in the bottom, kind of just sprinkle them around like so. And these are so tasty and fresh. So the grapes that they use in Tuscany for this dish are the grapes that have a high water content. They're not good for making wine, because of course we know in the Tuscan region they are known for their wine. Speaking of wine, that's what we're having tonight. I have my other comment moderator who used to live next door. Marty's here with us tonight.
Yes, and we want to welcome Virginia, who is here from Anchorage. How fun!
Oh, Virginia, are you in Anchorage? Virginia, are you in Anchorage with Christine? Are you guys watching together? So go to the farmer's market in Anchorage and get those fun little grapes. And then so I'm going to put a few more in the bottom here.
Lori says she's not going to make this. It exceeds her 3-ingredient limit, but she will, however, buy a plane ticket.
Oh,
So.
there you go. That's another way of getting it. Just buy a plane ticket. So we have a layer of, oh, here, let me show you. A layer of grapes in the bottom. I'm telling you guys, this is so easy. So easy. I mean, flour, a little yeast, and a little water, and that's your dough. And then you let it sit and hang out for a couple hours. So next we're going to add about 3 tablespoons of sugar. Sugar, because make it all a little sweet here. So 1 teaspoon, 2 teaspoons. Oops, go this direction. There we go. And now 3 teaspoons. And a little drizzle of olive oil. Here we go. Drizzle, drizzle olive oil because it's focaccia and it gets olive oil, a lot of it. Yum. Okay, so put that aside. Now we still have this little 1/3 a chunk of dough. And again, it's going to get a little fingering. And I'm just like, yeah. So just kind of press it and smoosh it out. Just use your little fingertips lightly. You could use a rolling pin at this process and kind of roll it out to cover all of your grapes. And kind of looks like a square, huh? What do you think? And you know those little dimples that you see in the focaccia when you buy it at the grocery store or have it at a restaurant? Those actually are marks from people's fingers of how to rolling it out. So now we're gonna use it like a blanket. Oops, let's move this over. Move it like a blanket. Put this over the top. Yay! And it fits. It all fits. Oops, kind of. And you know, this is a peasant dish. What's so fun about a peasant kind of, peasant dish or something that's traditional? It's like it doesn't have to be pretty, like super perfect. Just enough dough to cover it up, pinch it together so that the first layer of grapes stay in there. And now we're going to take the rest of our grapes, kind of sprinkle them around, and kind of push them in a little bit, maybe make some dainty pokes with my finger so there's little hollow spots for the grapes. So we're going to put those all over the top. I have this last little bunch. We'll just pick them off, and there they go.
So Julie from Eureka wants to know if you're using seedless grapes.
Oh, so Julie, are we using seedless grapes? I am not using seedless grapes. So there's little seeds in there, and we're all going to eat them. And we're going to see how that turns out. Because earlier today, I did experiment with cutting open the grapes and seeing if I could remove the seeds. It was very tedious. And on top of that, the Italians keep the seeds in the grapes. So if the Italians keep the seeds in the grapes, Louise keeps the seeds in the grapes. So a few more grapes on top. And guess what we're going to do to finish off these cute little purple jewels? Yeah, you guessed it. 3 more tablespoons of what? Or not water. What am I saying? Sugar. So 1, 2, yeah.
Do you try to get the sugar on the crust as well?
Not particularly, like, I'm just throwing it on there. I'm just throwing it on. But yeah, that, like when you think about pie and the juice kind of squeezes out and gets into the crust, that tastes so yummy. So there's 3 tablespoons of sugar. And then, you know how I am about the olive oil. Loving it. So we're going to just do a little drizzle of olive oil over the top of this thing. And eventually I will show you Dina's recipe for focaccia that's savory. But this is a little sweet. There we go. Olive oil on the top. I'm telling you, we're done. This is it. Now it's going to go into an oven at 375 degrees. About 45 to 50 minutes. The one that I baked earlier took longer because it was a smaller pan, so it was a little thicker. So we're going to pop this in the oven. Say goodbye to this beauty. Yes. If you live nearby, I'm going to play cafe tomorrow and sell cappuccinos and this little dish with, pretend like I have my own little lemonade stand. So this goes in the oven. And now, the part that we have been waiting hours for. This thing smelled so good when it was baking. I mean, so good. So one of the advantages to parchment paper, we lift it right out of the pan. Pan gets tossed to the side, and now a knife comes out. So, do you want to see this? Yeah, you probably want to see this. So what we're going to do tonight is, even though this is like a sweet focaccia, I know it's not super sweet because I've had it before, we're going to serve this and eat this up with some sausage, and we're going to maybe put some, I'm going to put some fontina cheese on there as well. But anyway, let's cut into this baby. Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Look at that! Oh, it's beautiful! Oh my God, I'm so excited. This looks gorgeous. This looks exactly the way it looks in Florence in the bakeries. So I'm going to have Marty taste it, and then I'm going to have a taste. And then we'll put some, we won't have the sausage and eat the cheese on this bread in front of y'all because that's just rude.
What kind of sausage are you talking about, Louise?
I'm going to use soppressa and and I would love to put some mortadella on there with pistachio inside the mortadella. So Marty's going to have a taste, and now I'm going to have a taste.
Rachel just jumped on, and she's so excited about the sweet focaccia. She wonders if it would be great with any kind of sweet fruit. Oh.
Oh my God. Oh my God. So the Tuscans would,
Oh my God.
I know. So the Tuscans would eat this kind of like as an afternoon snack because the Italians eat dinner later in the day. So this might be a snack that a kid would have after school to kind of tide them over to dinner time. And what we're going to do is since it's so nice and thick, slice this open, put some sausage on there. I think I might try another piece separate with the fontina cheese. And, we're going to put a salad with this, and this is going to be our dinner tonight. So this is, did you guys see how easy this was? You totally need to try this. Please post your photos of your end product. Tag Dimi DPU in Facebook. And again, this is called Schiacciata con uva. Uva is the Italian word for grape. And buon appetito. Oh my God, this is amazing. Marty, what's your take?
It is not sweet, but it has a little bit of sweetness to it.
From the grapes?
It is delicious. And the texture, the crust, the
Yeah.
cakey and
We're doing more focaccia on Dimi DPU, y'all, because I have Dina's recipe too with like tomato and olive. That's really good. So,
the seeds work too.
yeah. Yeah, no worry to have this. And it's okay. We didn't have to pick out the seeds. They work. You can chew them up and it's a little crunch. So, buon appetito, buonanotte, and salute. Ciao. Oh, this was a quick one tonight.